5, build relationships, don't acquire. It's very important to build relationships because when you are meeting people, usually you have an objective in your mind, right? Like if there's someone really important, you're about to meet them or something, you're like, I want something from this guy, right? That's the worst way to approach a relationship because you will never succeed that way. You have to remove yourself from your ask immediately because when you don't want something, you'll get it. If you ask for money, you get advice. If you ask for advice, you get money, right? It's just very cool to see how people have done this time and time and time again. In my life, it's happened accidentally. And in your life, you can make it purposeful and actually make something out of it. If the fight's hard, then it's even more worth it to fight it. If your idea was so simple, then someone else would have done it already. And they probably would have done it 10 times better than you would have. And their company is probably way more successful than yours will ever be if it's just so fucking easy, right? Because if an idea was easy, everybody would have done it already. But if it's hard, that's even more reason to do it because when you actually do it, nobody else will do it, right? And that's very important to remember, that there are very easy ways to go about being an entrepreneur. Part of it is not trying to take that easy path. That's how you become a great sort of revolutionary or someone who's trying to change a market or an industry forever, is to try not to do the easy thing. And doing is iterating, not thinking. Please remember, and we have these posters that I plan to hang up in the office next week because I just had this epiphany on my flight over here was, you should do first and apologize later all the time in the early stages of your company or whatever you're doing because guess what? You'll never really know if it's validated. There's no, I think stats are boogers, right? Statistics are boogers. You know why? Because they're useless once you pick them. And there are things that you have to realize are very important that you can use as data that don't necessarily need to be some kind of historical set of stats that help you make a decision. When you do things, you're making your own data. And frankly, that's the freshest, most current market research you can possibly have, right? And so that must mean that that's the best thing you should use to make your decisions on. That's why doing is way more important than thinking in the early stages. And the last and final one is generate serendipity, right? What I mean by this is you can create your own luck. There's this thingy I didn't come up with, but they're like, okay, there's a really lucky person and a really unlucky person. Both of them got into a car accident, right? The really unlucky person was like, oh, I'm so unlucky, I'm such a klutz, I always get into car accidents. The really lucky person was like, wow, I'm so lucky to be alive. So luck is very much so a perspective thing. Luck and serendipity can be contrived. And the way you do that is to find an environment that's conducive to your strengths. I think it was Einstein who said, or maybe not, and call me out on this quote, but it's like, you don't judge a fish by how well it climbs a tree, right? And so you have to realize that there's all these things that you guys have to find to put into place in an ideal environment to help you thrive. Everybody has a different set of superpowers. I encourage you to find your superpower, and your superpower is that thing that everybody will say that you're really good at. So if you can somehow tie a knot with a cherry stem, then that's your superpower with your mouth, right? So that could be your superpower. Or if you have other things that you do that are your superpower, that's your superpower. But remember, there are things that are your strengths that you have to hold on to that are important for you to use in the ways that you build your business. Don't try to fix the flaw that you know you've had for a while. Try to augment the strength that you have. Because when you're being audacious, that's how you get differentiated, because you are irreplaceable if you're the best at that one thing. So, my final message to you is, go kick some ass. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, guys.